Okay, good job, mate. Really well done. That was a fantastic drive.
Hard work, ingenuity and ambition. All things you'll find in abundance amongst the 15 million people of Shanghai over there to our southeast. And we've got plenty of that here on the grid as well. 20,000 horsepower, give or take, chomping at the bit to be unleashed for the Chinese Grand Prix. We're here in the Yangtze River Delta today, home of the 16 corners that make up the Shanghai International Circuit. 54% of this 3.3-mile lap is taken at full throttle, and we'll be getting up to speeds of around 200 miles an hour, with DRS assisting the cars down the back straight before they brake into the sharp hairpin at turn 14. With me today, of course, is Anthony Davidson. Let's talk about Renault. We have a number of changes to the aerodynamic regulations this year, and the signs haven't looked good for them so far in terms of getting to grips with those changes.
There are a few downcast looks within the team this weekend. I think they've been hit fairly hard by the new regs. But this is only the first step down a long road of development, and even if they don't maximise their points today, there are plenty more up for grabs this season.
So before the off, let's remind ourselves of yesterday's qualifying session with a look at the starting grid. Red lines up on pole position, and Valtteri Bottas will line up alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Vettel, Hamilton, Max Verstappen and Hülkenberg, Ricciardo, Perez, Sainz and Esteban Ocon, Alonso, Magnussen, Charles Leclerc and Grosjean, Gasly, Van Dorn, Marcus Ericsson and Brendan Hartley. Stroll and Sergei Sirotkin rounds off the grid. And now it's time to head down to the track.
Okay, remember to protect the inside on the run down to turn 1. Make yourself as wide as possible, robust but fair. That's a decent start. Good job. Okay, stay clear of the white line on the exit. We'll receive a penalty for dangerous driving if you cross over into the track. Go now. Okay, some information on Magnussen. They seem to have an issue. Nice move. Good job. Go. Look after these tyres now. We want to finish the race on this Great manoeuvre. You made it look easy. Sebastian's in for his stop. Gap to teammate ahead is 15.1 seconds.
Ferrari to take the victory today. And I have to wonder, Anthony Davidson, just what set them apart from the competition here.
Well, I think the track conditions just really suited their car today. Wind, track temperature, you name it. These cars come alive when the tyres are just at the right temperature. So the more easily you can keep them there, the better your race tends to go. And that's exactly what happened. Their car just looks so comfortable out there.
So here they come now, out onto the podium. Wherever you go, anywhere in the world, the prancing horse flags are dominant in the grandstands, and they're out in force again today. It's Ferrari on the top step once more. So then, it's time to see how this result affects the Drivers' Championship. Red increases their championship lead. Moving on to the driver of the day then. Anthony Davidson, who would you go for?
I'm going to say Brendan Hartley. It was probably one of his best drives this season, and I was thoroughly impressed.
On to the constructors then. Ferrari extend their lead at the top of the championship. There was also a strong showing from the McLaren team today, as they make their way up the standings. That's it for today's Grand Prix, and from Ant and I, it's goodbye, and see you again next time.
We've only got 2 laps of fuel left.
Good afternoon and welcome to Baku. This was the arena, if you think back to 2017, of one of the most eventful races of modern history, with controversy behind the safety car, last-second overtakes, and a historic podium for Williams and for Lance Stroll. So let's find out what lies in store for us this year. It's time for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. It's 3.7 miles around a lap of Baku City Circuit then, with 7 rights and 13 lefts, giving us a total of 20 corners. The cars today will be reaching top speeds of around 215 miles per hour, maybe even a little bit more, with a slipstream and DRS assistance. Almost ready to go then, and this is what the starting grid looks like for today's race. Red lines up on pole position, and it's Valtteri Bottas that completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Vettel, Hamilton, Sergio Perez, and Ocon, Ricciardo, Verstappen, Sainz, and Nico Hülkenberg, Leclerc, Magnussen, Roman Grosjean, and Gasly, Alonso, Ericsson, Brendan Hartley, and Stoffel van Dorn. Sirotkin and Lance Stroll rounds off the grid. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
That's a strong start. Well done. Mind that front wing. It'll need replacing if it takes too much damage. A new strategy is available on the MFD. Confirmed. Confirmed. We'll receive you at the end of this lap. What happened? Let me know you're okay.
That's it for another Grand Prix and a fantastic win for Mercedes. And Anthony Davidson, give me your thoughts. How did they accomplish this result?
A reliable car, that was the most important factor here. This was a real battle of attrition, and you could tell those at the front were trying to find a balance between running their outright pace and taking care of the car to reach the end.
And here are our podium drivers today after that excellent race. They've excelled here, as they so often do, and it's a well-deserved victory. Mercedes, then, are on top today. And after this round of the World Championship, here's how things look in the drivers' table. It wasn't the best weekend for our championship leader, and their advantage at the top has been reduced. Now then, Anthony Davidson, who was your driver of the day?
Well, I think it has to be Fernando Alonso. He got the strategy spot on and consistently had the pace to come through as well.
And here's how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. We saw a dip in form from the championship leaders today. Their lead has taken a significant blow. Another team that will be satisfied with this Grand Prix is Sauber, whose good results moves them further up the championship. After all that excitement, it's time for a lie down, I think. Thanks for joining us, and goodbye until the next race.